The national leaders of Workers' Union Nehawu have joined their members who are demonstrating outside the South African Bureau of Standards headquarters in Pretoria. It's day 5 of the strike action by these workers who down tools against the company's restructuring process. They're accusing the employer of unilaterally changing the payment and employment structure in that particular company. Watching developments for us for much of the week is Katlego, who joins us once again from outside the company's headquarters in Pretoria. And it seems workers, Katlego, are not willing to back down. Day 5 of the strike and no end in sight.
Most definitely. A very good morning to you, Ayanda, and to our viewers at home. The workers as upbeat as we saw them on Monday when we came here for day 1 of these demonstrations. This, as we see their leadership continue with the marathon meetings behind us, this being in the offices with the management, trying by all means to bridge this impasse. What we are told is that there are scenarios that are being presented here in terms of what's on offer from management, but what the crux of this demonstration here, Ayanda, is the issue of a restructuring, that they are saying that restructuring has changed the payment and salary scales of these workers, and they also introduced a section 189 that would see most of these workers not being accommodated, so they're not finding each other, Ayanda, because on Wednesday we're expecting that at least this strike action would be really stopped, halted after having found each other, but we see them continuing with these talks behind closed doors as the workers continue demonstrating on day 5 of this strike action at the SABS. I'm going to bring Zolani into the conversation. Zolani, you're privy to what has been happening behind us. It's been days of these negotiations with the management of this entity, and it doesn't look like you're finding each other, as we see the workers saying that they're not going to go to work without anything that is favorable to them coming from these negotiations happening behind us. Bring us up to speed. What has been happening?
Good morning, Katlego, and good morning to the viewers at home. Yes, indeed, the negotiations began on day 5 of the strike, and they are quite slow, I must say the least, because where we are, there is even contestation around the information, the financial information they've gave us in terms of their own proposals that they've made. We can confirm that they've made proposal to shift about 150 employees who are below the minimum of the scale to at least the minimum of the scale, but they want to do it in a phased-in approach. And when we ask for greater details about the financial implication of that, that's where they are still stuck. And that still falls short of our demand of moving all employees in line with the recommendation of the emergence group to the midpoint. And to move employees to the midpoint, they are likely to require around 40 million or so. And then even when we put in an alternative position to say, let's consider lower guide, which would have saved them also around 15 million or so. So for them to move to what they are offering to us, lower guide, they will need not so much money, around 8 million, 9 million rands, while if we were to move from the midpoint to lower guide, we can be able to let go of our 10 to 12 million rands. So the discussions where they are is for them to find the money, and we are willing to make concession there and there so that we find each other in the middle of the ground.
I mean, we hear that as well you've roped in the national leadership that is joining you here today to try and apply pressure, and at the same time you've written on an urgent basis to the Minister of the DTIC, Pakstow, to come and intervene in stabilizing this particular entity. Have there been any indications of where to from here, where that letter is concerned, and the national leadership here confirm if they're indeed here, and how really then do you expect for things to flow, roping them in to this particular process?
We can confirm that, as we have said in previous communication, that if they do not come to the table with a better offer, we are going to escalate the strike. And part of that escalation saw our General Secretary coming here in the picket line this morning, and also our President, First Deputy President, is likely to come here and address us by lunchtime. And the message is quite clear that the General Secretary has dispatched a letter to the Minister saying intervene, and we want you to intervene on an urgent basis in making sure that you deal with these issues. So that intervention is ongoing, and also it's part of escalation. We have also directed all our branches in the DTI cluster, that is NRCS, CIPC, National Consumer Commission, the Department of Trade and Industry, to issue notices of secondary strike if this strike moves to next week. We have also, as we have already indicated, applied for a march. So this thing, if they do not conclude it this week, that escalation has actually begun with the arrival of the national office bearers of Nehawu in the picket line.
All right, Solani Masuleng, thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time, coming through from really Nehawu, letting us in on the negotiations behind us. But they're trying by all means, Ayanda, to continue applying pressure as much as they can. Management will be speaking to us as well in the afternoon to give us their side of the story. As we see, it is conversations, continuing negotiations, continuing within and behind closed doors. Ayanda?
All right, Legodi, thanks very much indeed. Katlego, watching that developing story as it unfolds in Pretoria. We'll certainly keep watching it with you as it continues to unfold.